Let's continue with other news now, and trade unions have gone to court to try to stop job cuts at SAA. Their urgent court application has been dismissed, but they're going to appeal that decision. Heidi Jacos is following the story for us. She joins us now live from Johannesburg. So Heidi, take us through today's judgment.
So basically, Shahan, I think it's important to just take a step back and understand why Nomsa Saka took an urgent court application to the Labour Court. Basically, when that statement was released by the business rescue practitioners last week to say that job cuts are imminent at SAA, they are cutting routes to Durban, Port Elizabeth and East London. This caused panic amongst the workers and unions because they felt as though this basically meant they are fast-tracking the retrenchment process, which ultimately means that they can't go through a Section 189 consultation process. This is why they brought in the urgent court application to interdict that process, to say the business rescue practitioners must go through a proper process before they decide to tell workers that they are no longer required to go back to work. The judge, however, has dismissed that court application, basically saying that the business rescue practitioners merely mentioned it in a media statement. They did not officially issue a notice to say they're going to go through retrenchments, which he feels as though there is no proper business rescue plan stating how many workers will be retrenched, what the plan is going forward, which means that they don't need to consult with workers or unions or go through a Section 189, because according to the business rescue practitioners, there is no official statement or rescue plan on job cuts. So on that basis, the judge dismissed that application, saying until such a time that the business rescue practitioners issue a formal plan and statements, that is when they will be obliged to go through a Section 189 process and consult with unions on alternative options so that workers don't get retrenched.
All right, let's skip to this. Unions are adamant that they will continue this fight, though, because they don't want any job cuts.
No, they are adamant that they don't want any job cuts. But it's important, Shahan, to understand the fact that unions are saying they understand that there will be job cuts. They understand that retrenchments have been put on the table since last year already, when SAA, before they were placed under business rescue, indicated they are going to retrench over 900 people. But the issue that the unions are having is that they feel as though the business rescue practitioners are trying to fast-track the process of retrenchments. They are not allowing for workers and unions to go through consultations, to engage, to discuss other alternatives, to go through a training layoff scheme for workers. And this is why they are saying they'll go to the very end to try and make sure that workers are protected and given a fair opportunity when it comes to the retrenchments that the airline unfortunately has to go through.
All right, let's take a listen to that sound clip, Heidi.
Well, we're going to take this application by application. We are going as far as the law will allow us in order to defend our rights. Our rights are being subverted here. The labor law is very clear. I mean, you heard the testimony yesterday where they broke down what the rights are of workers. Even in a business rescue process, the business rescue practitioner has to follow Section 189A of the Labor Relations Act. This is clearly and blatantly and deliberately being avoided. So we are being railroaded through this process, and unfortunately the Labour Court has endorsed this through this decision, and all we can do is to look at our legal options and to fight and take this as far as we can.
In a separate matter, Heidi, there's actually some good news pertaining to SAA for a change.
Sounds unbelievable, but indeed, Shahan, there is some good news when it comes to SAA. If one remembers, last year, November, the Flight Centre stopped selling SAA tickets on its platforms, on various travel agent platforms, due probably to the instability that's going on at SAA, the strike that happened, the fact that there was some of the planes were grounded and so forth, and they decided to stop selling SAA tickets. They issued a statement today to say they are going to start reselling those tickets. They're going to put SAA back on the platform. This ultimately means that passengers, when they are booking on these platforms and Flight Centre, for example, SAA will come up as one of the options for passengers to book on the airline. This will mean that passengers will see SAA as one of the airline options. More people can possibly be booking on SAA, which they desperately need. They need more people on on those flights. And it's also showing that perhaps Flight Centre is seeing some kind of change within SAA to say that, there seems to be some kind of difference being made, and they're now willing to resell those tickets on that platform. So finally, some good news for SAA.
Yeah, I wonder how long it'll last. Heidi Jokos is in Johannesburg. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.